Oh, hi chickens! How's it going? Hello and welcome to this vlog. I don't know where this is gonna go. I just kind of wanted to make a vlog like showing some of the things that I am working on. One of those things is the garden. So thought I'd start with a garden because I'm really excited about it. So let's take a look. So this is my high-tech way of keeping the bunnies out. I planted kale the other day and was super happy about it. Came back a few hours later and some of it had been mowed down, presumably by a baby bunny. So now I have to block these gaps in this deer fence here to make sure that the rest of the kale survives. Call me a stereotypical Portlander, but I love kale. And I was born and raised in Portland, so I guess what they say is true. Okay, so here, well, here's some little lettuce starts that we still need to plant. They're gonna replace some bok choy that really needs to be picked and harvested. Over here we have some thyme that I planted last year. Oh, my hair's getting in the view. But yeah, we have all this thyme. It smells so good. Finally, the chives are taking off. They're blooming right now. Super cute. This is a huge artichoke that's really taken off. I don't know. I think it's kind of close to these other plants, but we shall see. Might have to move something. And this year, we were smart and bought some soaker hoses. So it's been a game changer, honestly. Here's like a quick overview of what's going on. Never mind the random cart, the shopping cart. This is like the unweeded, undealt with little section over here, but the rest of the garden has, like, mostly has some stuff going on. We have some early crops over here of spinach and arugula, which is definitely bolting and going to seed, and some, what are they called? Radish. There we go. Some radish over here that we've been harvesting and sticking in salads. Salads that we've been making with all of this lettuce. There's lettuce and mustard greens. I'll get closer up in a second. We've been harvesting lettuce. There were some mystery carrots from last year that we apparently didn't harvest. There appears to be a jet going overhead. And then over in that back corner, we just yesterday planted some squash and cucumbers and other little good things. Cucamelons. Cucamelons. I didn't know what those were until last year, and I love them. They're like baby cucumbers that look like baby watermelons, like this tall, like 1.5 to 2 inches long. Over there, we'll get closer, but there's some tomatillos, bush beans, the sad kale that the rabbits tried to kill, a bunch of tomatoes, and a selection of peppers, some jalapenos, some, we'll get over there. So, closer look. Our artichoke, which hasn't produced yet, we started it from, I think we started it from seed last year. And this is how big it is now. It's been 1 year, getting pretty big. Put my hand in here for perspective. Woo! Can't wait to eat from that. This is just a volunteer. It's feverfew, so it's an herb that I have no idea how to use it, but I think like traditionally, or I don't know, theoretically, could be used to reduce fevers. I don't know how to process that, but I think the leaves smell really nice and in a very strong herbal way. And the flowers are pretty. They look kind of like little mini daisies or something. And here we laid down a bunch of soaker hose, which has been a huge game changer. These ones we got at Home Depot, they were about $15 for a roll. That has been a huge game changer. I am notoriously bad at watering the garden. I think I get really lazy and it takes so long to water, and it's just not my favorite part of gardening. So I think I tend to like rush through it a little bit and not soak things as much as they need to, or like get the leaves wet, you know, like with squash, like zucchinis, you want to keep the leaves as dry as possible, otherwise they start to mold and it's not great. Soaker hoses allow us to just turn them on, like turn on the hose really low. The water seeps out over the course of a few hours, really penetrates the earth, doesn't get the leaves wet, the plants are just way happier, and I'm happier because I save a ton of time and don't get frustrated. So for $15 per hose, that was probably the best investment we've made this year for the garden so far. I'm really excited to see what the crops do. I don't know what ate this. Slug-eaten bok choy. All these like little fuzzy seeds that are coming off of some sort of tree in our neighbor's yard. But gotta rescue this bok choy. This one looks really bad. This one looks pretty bad. But you know, they all taste the same. Just wash them. And then we got some more bok choy over here. These are some golden beets. This is a red sorrel. I've never used this to cook or eat. We'll see. I tried a leaf the other day, raw, and I didn't like it. But it was a gift from my mom, so we're gonna see what it tastes like when we cook it. Right there, this is like some cool, weird little lettuce, type of lettuce. It was advertised to have like a nutty taste. I guess it does, maybe. But it just, honestly, it just tastes kind of like regular lettuce, but it has a lot of visual appeal, in my opinion. It really makes your salads look good. We've got all kinds of lettuce here. Just regular garden lettuce. I think that this one might be like a butter head. So this is celery, kind of along this line. Most of this stuff along the line is celery, which I totally forgot that we planted. I think we planted it last year. It just kind of sat in these little tufts all winter and then turned into celery this spring. So cool. I'll have to harvest that soon. I actually like celery, so that's exciting. We have a bunch of mustard greens here. Those are really nice because you can just throw them in a salad or on a burger, and they're just like lettuce but with a little bit more spice. So if you like mustard, it's kind of like a mild mustard taste, almost like mustard meets lettuce. It's literally mustard. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, if you don't like mustard, maybe don't try to grow those, but I think they're delicious, and I honestly would probably eat mustard by the spoonful because that's me. This is kohlrabi. I've never grown it. Here's the little tag. It like turns into like some sort of like bulb thing that you can eat. I don't know. We'll see. My boyfriend wanted to grow it, so sorry if I'm not super excited about it. I've just never done it. Some volunteer potatoes sticking out of the cracks over here. Volunteer fern. Why not? You know, it was living here first, so I'll just leave it there. And over here in this garden bed, get a close-up look at our spinach. I really need to start harvesting this. And our arugula, which is definitely trying to go to seed. And I'm sure it will soon, but I'm hoping that it'll just, you know, if I leave it alone, it'll just produce its own seeds and replant itself basically and be more hardened off for this area. We definitely put it in the shadiest area and it's still bolting, so who knows. Our radishes, I don't remember what type of radish this is, but it's supposed to grow like longer, if you can see. It's like sticking out of the ground, but it grows like a few inches long and maybe an inch to an inch and a half thick. Delicious. I actually like this way more than the other more traditional or like round radishes that we've tried to grow in the past. These ones are resistant to splitting, and it's true, I haven't had any that have split so far, and they've been in the ground for months. So yeah, they've tasted delicious. Would recommend. Over here is our really sad asparagus bed, but this is what the asparagus looks like. We're on, what is it, year 2? We bought the crowns and planted those in the ground, and I think it's supposed to take about 3 years before you can harvest the asparagus. If you harvest it too early, you'd basically kill the plant because it wouldn't have built up enough strength underground. Also, there's only so much that's coming out of the ground right now. Sorry about the shadows, but it's so pretty though. It's like this fluffiness, so we're letting it just go to seed or go to flower and build up its strength in the roots underground, so that hopefully soon, as in the coming few years, we'll be able to actually harvest some. And this is some borage that I planted here when I thought that the asparagus was dead last year, and then surprise, it's not. So now we have some competing borage that's about to bloom as well. Beautiful, like bluish purple star-shaped flowers that are edible and that the bees love. So that's great because it'll attract bees, which will come and pollinate all of the other flowers in the garden as well. And this is my crazy calendula patch. I think calendula might be one of my favorite plants. It's beautiful, It's medicinal, it's edible, like very mild taste. You could just like throw this, like the petals in a salad, or what my mom used to do when we were kids is like sometimes she'd make like a chocolate cake for someone's birthday and then cut some of these flowers and stick them on top, and everything's edible and it's just gorgeous like this against super dark chocolate frosting. So pretty. Another thing it could be used for is like if you have kids, you know, like kids sometimes get pink eye. I don't know. It's a thing that happens. Just like snip off the head of a flower that looks probably like at this level of maturity where it has, if you can see in the center, some of these little inner, the like center has started to bloom, but it hasn't bloomed entirely. Like the very center is still tightly, I don't know what you call it, but those little flowers in the very center haven't bloomed, but the ones around the edge of the center circle have. I don't know how to describe that. Anyway, that's the stage where I've been harvesting them at, and then I'll just let the heads dry like in a basket, like not in direct sunlight, and then pick off the little dried petals at the end and store them in a jar, again like in a pantry or somewhere where there isn't a ton of direct light. You can infuse oils with the petals and then use that oil to make like hand cream, like mix it with beeswax and I think some other stuff like cacao butter, I believe, to make body lotion that's like healing and smells great. So yeah, there are just like tons of things that you can do with it. I love this plant. This is a little tree that my boyfriend rescued from somewhere last year. He didn't know what it was. It was just a little tiny twig, and he was like, I want to see what it turns into. Well, now we have an oak tree. I don't know what we're gonna do about that, but for now it's in a pot. Over here, squash patch, and this is currently, this has the soaker hoses currently running, as you can see. We've got one green zucchini in this mound, and let's see, over here we have a butternut squash. We have back here 2 cucumbers, a silver slicer cucumber and an Asian cucumber, which I think they just basically grow long and straight. And here is a delicata squash. I love those. I love putting those in roasts, like in the winter time or in the fall. Delicious. And it literally tastes delicate. These are the cucamelons. Okay, look at this picture. They look like tiny watermelons, but they're seriously like the size of half of my thumb, like the tip of my thumb. And and they taste like kind of like lemony cucumbers. They're like fresh and bright. So adding those to salads is super fun. Great visual appeal. I love them. So it's very delicate and it basically climbs like any other cucumber or like peas. But yeah, it'll just probably climb up this deer fence like it did last year. You can see like these little curly bits from last year where it would attach itself to the fence. So that's a favorite. We planted 2 this year and they produced a lot. Anyway, another delicata, more cucumber. This one is, let's see, a summer dance cucumber and a miniature white cucumber. So we'll see. More butternut squash. Did I even show you the butternut squash before? Probably not. I'm not paying attention to myself. Anyway, growing butternut squash here. And a yellow zucchini because, I don't know, we thought it'd be fun to have a green one and a yellow one. We're gonna have so much zucchini, it's gonna be crazy. And here is one winter spaghetti squash. I really love spaghetti squash in general. And I love just chopping it in half and like pulling out the seeds with a spoon in the wintertime, and then like throwing together some like diced tomatoes, maybe some ground meat if you eat meat, or it could be something else, some onion, cooking that up and sticking it inside the squash after I've like baked it for, I don't know, say 30 minutes or so, and then baking it again, and it's like this delicious bowl of squash that holds like the contents of whatever else it is that you're cooking, and you just eat out of the shell, and it's great and so healthy. All right, over here, next bed. There's a lot going on in here. So these are bush beans. So instead of pole beans that like grow like 6 feet tall or taller, and you have to have a whole setup for them, these are bush beans. They're not gonna probably get that much taller than this. In the past, they've produced a lot, so we only have like a few here. This time I think we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clumps. But within each clump, there's like about 3 bean poles. So we're probably gonna get a lot this year too. This is my sad kale that I tried to rescue. Basically, it had gone to seed and seeded itself in the garden, and then I found these little starts and transferred them right here so they could grow big, and then something came along, started eating it, and now they're wilted and stressed out. But they're still here, and kale is so freaking hardy. I'm sure it'll be fine. Like, this one got mowed down mostly, but it's already making a new leaf in the center. And here we have a tomatillo and another tomatillo, because we found out that you need 2 in order to get any actual tomatillos, because they need to cross-pollinate. So we had one, and then we got another just so that we can make sure that we get little fruits. You can see they have little buds already. Cute. This is just a pot. It's just a space saver right now. Tomatoes, I don't remember what kind of tomatoes these are, but I believe that they are heirlooms, and I believe that they are purple Cherokees. But we'll see, because I don't remember, and there are no tags on these. This is my sparse pea patch. Not very many of the peas germinated this year, and I also need to weed it, as you can see. But they're starting to climb on our little makeshift little wire fence. You see we made a little fence here, or a little trellis, or whatever you want to call it. They're doing okay. I don't know, we'll see. And here is our little pepper patch, and we added some basil to the middle because we noticed that the soaker hose was making this nice and moist, so we thought it might be a good spot for the basil. We have a California Wonder sweet bell pepper. What is this? Garden salsa tobacco mosaic? I don't know. We'll see, but it looks like it's gonna be good. Look at this. Yeah, got our basil, which I don't know exactly what type of basil this is, but it smells like your run-of-the-mill sweet basil to me. Looks like it too. And this is a jalapeno, and this is a gypsy sweet pepper. Fun fact, I have this weird thing where I can't eat bell peppers. They make me sick, which is sad because I used to be able to eat them, and I really like them, but I haven't been able to eat them for years, and it's sad. So that bell pepper's not for me. But this last year I tried eating these sweet peppers, which are like, I don't know, they look basically identical to a bell pepper but smaller. Taste pretty identical, but I had no problem with them. So it's weird. It's weird. I don't get it. It's weird. I'm kind of mad about it because I love bell peppers, but at least I can eat like pretty much any other type of pepper as far as I know. I don't get it. I have a theory that it must be some sort of pesticide that is sprayed on them that's making me sick. So I'm actually gonna, I'm like scared to do it, but this summer when we get bell peppers, I'm gonna try some and see how it makes me feel. Just a little bit. See how it makes me feel, because if I can grow them at home and eat them, I'll be stoked. Okay, more tomatoes. This one is a beefsteak tomato, so big red one. We've got a, what is this? Sun sugar. It's basically like yellow cherry tomatoes. Got another here. I think that might just be another one. I know there are a bunch of cherry tomatoes here. Yellow pear tomato.